Hey guys, it's Danny. Today we are talking about orchid species versus orchid hybrids. Are either one of these better than the other? Is one of them more suitable for our home conditions than the other? And well, you'd be surprised that there isn't one answer, I would say, to this question. There is a lot of opinion, to be honest, so why not throw my opinion there into the universe, right? Well, I will tell you obviously my opinion, but I will try to give you like objective facts about why hybrids exist, maybe why they might be better or not, and so on. And in the end, the idea is for you to decide which of these camps, should we call them, you belong to. But before we start, don't forget to give this video a like. If you end up enjoying it, it really helps it out. And why not subscribe? I post multiple times a week and it is completely free. But if you're feeling a little extra and you can and you further want to support the channel, do consider becoming a member and having access to some exclusive videos. You can also use the affiliate links that I always have in the description of my videos. You can check the merch, you can check the mugs and the puzzle we have at the moment, and also you can use the super thanks option down below. Right, so to better help me demonstrate today's point, I have two lovely orchids here that are related. I have been waiting for this moment forever. I like to make comparisons between like the species parent of an orchid and the hybrid, and I have the Brassavola cucullata, which is my absolute favorite Brassavola species, and here I have one of her hybrids, which has grown so much on me. This is Cattleya araguayensis crossed with Brassavola cucullata. We don't have a registered name yet, as far as I know, but the cucullata is a primary or direct parent to this hybrid, which makes it a primary hybrid. And we can see they look similar, but not identical. Same, but different, right? And I love them both. You would be, maybe if you're newer to the hobby, you'd be surprised to hear that there are people who feel very strongly about either of these camps, mostly about hybrids. There are even some reputable growers that only collect or only sell, depending if they're nurseries, species, no hybrids. I guess it has to do with more of a conservation aspect, I would like to believe. But there will also be people who are just a little bit snobbish, I guess. I don't know. Collecting species for the wrong reasons. What are the wrong reasons? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm subjective. All in all, you'll be surprised to believe that some people feel very strongly about collecting species or hybrids. But for the typical home growers such as us, is there a difference between hybrids and species? Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. So, hybrids are actually the vast majority of orchids that are present in flower shops or garden centers or even commercial nurseries. Yes, there is a great deal of species that we can buy and grow in our homes without taking from the wild, species that have been propagated in cultivation for even hundreds of years at this point, but you will have many more hybrids than species available. Now, there are several reasons for this. One is that, I guess, as humans, we're just very curious. We're very curious, what happens if I combine this thing with the other? So it's fun. It's fun to create new and exciting flowers and plants. It is relatively easy to obtain. It's not easy for us, but if you think about the grand scheme of life, it's easy to obtain a hybrid of two plants, easy to obtain maybe new colors, new and wild looking flowers, and it's absolutely fun. It is addictive, and we have been doing it for hundreds of years, at least with orchids. In my opinion, hybrids arose from curiosity and then from just the joy of creating something new, something beautiful, maybe not more beautiful than the original, but different in different ways. As you can see, I have here a Brassavola that is like buttery colored, and here a Brassavola looking like plant that is purple. Brassavola as a species is not purple. It's a nighttime fragrant orchid. It attracts night pollinators. It needs to stand out in the night, in the light of the moon. So light pale colors is what we're working with, and I do believe all Brassavolas are not colorful flowers. They smell very nice at night, but they're usually white, greenish, off-white, you know, this buttery color. What if we have this beautiful shape or something similar in purple? Isn't that wonderful? So in my opinion, if I was a hybridizer, this would be the primary reason why I would try to hybridize. It's so fun to obtain new colors and new shapes and maybe new scents and so on. The possibilities are endless, right? So it's absolutely fun. There's also, though, another aspect to hybridizing, which I'm not sure if it arose later or it was a primary objective, maybe. I did not live 100 years ago. Shocking, I know. I'm not that old. But the other reason might very well be, at least nowadays, is how vigorous the hybrids are. There is such a term called hybrid vigor. Through hybridization, we discovered that we can actually cross an orchid which might not be so vigorous, like in home conditions, might not be so adaptable to home conditions. We can cross it with one that is adaptable, and the hybrids, some of them, like the resulting individuals, at least some will have some of that adaptability and vigor that the other parent has, but kind of look like the other parent that is not so adaptable. Another reason to hybridize them, right? If we can make them easier to grow in our alien environment, why not do it? You can see why, I don't know if this was the primary objective when the first hybrids were made, but certainly nowadays it is. One of the objectives, amongst the other objectives, for hybridizers is to create something that is vigorous, grows faster maybe than one of the original parent, while still retaining the beautiful characteristics of the parent, which can be fragrance, color, shape, and so on. We can even combine them to create something vigorous with the best characteristics of both parents. And this usually happens through selection, because each seedling will actually be a little different than its brothers and sisters, let's say. So there is a more complex system here, but definitely hybridizing for vigor is a thing. Is it the ultimate goal? I don't know. I'm not a hybridizer. You should tell me if you are a hybridizer. What is your ultimate goal? I'm curious to know as well, because let's remember the Nelly Eiler, right? Nelly Eiler is a very, very iconic hybrid. It's one of my absolute favorite plants. It's just not vigorous. It's also not very suitable for my environment. I'm sure there are environments which can pull off Nelly Eilers, but here's the thing. I do watch other YouTube channels with orchids, and I have never seen anybody say, oh, I have this Nelly Eiler for 10 years. I have seen people say, oh, I have this Dendrobium, Cattleya, Phalaenopsis for 10, 15 years. I even have comments telling me that you guys have these plants for 20 years, but never a Nelly Eiler. And the hybrid is old. That's because the hybrid is not vigorous. It is absolutely breathtaking, and the color and the perfume is out of this world in my opinion, but it's not vigorous. So the Nelly Eiler is a bit of an anomaly. It is just so beautiful, but it's not vigorous. It has been selected probably for the way it looks, not the way it persists. I don't even know if it's doable to grow it for 20 years. I don't know if you can create specimens like you can from Cattleyas and so on that even nurseries have. I have never seen one. I have never heard of one. I have seen countless Cattleyas on Sidiums even, at nurseries and videos and photos, so on and so forth. Never a Nelly Eiler. That makes you think. So yes, hybrids can sometimes be more suitable to our home conditions, but not always. But if we're a beginner, let's say, should we stick to hybrids rather than species? Well, it's hard to say yes or no because it's a very general term, right? If I were to lean on one of the answers, I will lean towards yes. Because yes, hybrids have a better chance, especially very popular hybrids, they're popular for a reason, most of them, you have a better chance of having a forgiving orchid, or at least one that grows faster. This one, I feel like it grows faster, a little bit faster than the Brassavola, not by much. But there are hybrids like the Brassavola nodosa hybrids that do have continuous growth growth. They bloom multiple times a year. They look absolutely wonderful. I've talked about them a lot on my channel as well. Whenever I do my orchids in bloom videos, I always tell you this orchid is very vigorous, very forgiving, adaptable, doesn't need a lot of light, doesn't need this or the other. Yeah, there are a lot of those hybrids which are so popular due to the fact that they are very, very, very vigorous. But it's, you know, it's not a general rule. If you feel like you're a little anxious to go with for the species, which can be maybe slightly pricier at the nursery, yeah, you can absolutely go with the hybrids, and part of me recommends that. But there is a part of me that also knows there are species which are very easy to grow as well, and brassavolas are some of them. All brassavolas that I've ever had are pretty easy to grow and pretty vigorous. Maybe not as fast growing as some of their hybrids, for sure. But definitely once they get going and established, I don't think you're gonna have a bad time. I think you're gonna really enjoy brassavolas. And then there are other types of species such as the fluffy, flowered cattleyas, maxima, mossiae, dowiana. These species they grow slow. We talked about it when we talked about cattleyashes. They grow slow, they create one growth per year. If you repot them at the wrong time, they will sulk. They might die as well. These species, you know, not the friendliest, not the nicest in the world. Do I like them and I love them? Yes. But if I started with cattleyas with one of those species, oh man, probably I would have such an adversity to cattleyas in general. No. So yeah, from this point of view, you can absolutely encounter those species that will give you nightmares. But you can also have, you know, pleasant encounters such as the Bellina and most Phalaenopsis species. They're pretty easy to grow. Schilleriana, very similar to flower shop Phalaenopsis, and she's just a joy to look at. Grows slower. You will notice some of these species do have less vigorousness than some of the hybrids, and especially with Phalaenopsis. What you see at the flower shop are the top of the line when it comes to vigorous and fast-growing orchids. Species a little lower, but as a species, Phalaenopsis is pretty easy to grow. So depends on the species and, you know, on what you want and what you consider finicky and what type of enjoyment you want to get out of the hobby. If you enjoy the idea that something looks like this in nature and you can actually have it and discover nature in this way, by all means go for the species. Try to buy these species from reputable nurseries, not from random sellers, maybe on eBay and stuff. I don't know. You'd have to trust the seller, you know. I'm not gonna go into the details, but some people don't have legit orchids. Maybe some are taken from the wild. I would not try to buy from those sources. I would not buy from those sources. I would not encourage anybody. But in your areas, you will always find some nurseries. And when I say areas, I even mean like economical zone, like the EU. Yeah, I don't have any nursery in Cyprus, but I have nurseries in the EU, which Cyprus is a part of, that can ship to me. If you're in the US, you might not find a nursery in Colorado, I don't know. But you will find one in Massachusetts. I don't know what I'm saying. I just whatever pops into my mind. You know what I'm saying? You can find a nursery in another state that will deliver to you. Canada as well. Some nurseries do from the US deliver to Canada. You just have to look for them. And usually you will see them, you will know them, and you can do your research. You can search forums and see what people recommend, what nurseries they recommend, and so on. You can check my orchid hauls to see nurseries in the EU and so on. So absolutely. If you want to buy species, buy them. But if you are okay with hybrids as well, I think you're gonna have an awesome time because there are so many beautiful hybrids. Oh man, like all ideals of no, I'm only buying species fly out the window when you see the hybrids. They just poof, they're gone. There was a thing. There was I don't know if it was a grower, collector, I don't remember. It was just funny. Somebody told me about it. There was a popular grower who said, if the pollinators don't recognize it, I don't recognize it either. jokes aside, a pollinator would love this. But I know what they were trying to say. They were trying to say that they're only interested in species in natural forms, right? Do you, whatever. I'm just saying, when you see the hybrids, how beautiful they are, any thought like this absolutely would flow out of my mind. Like, do not avoid hybrids because, I don't know, just take a look at them. And if all else fails, think about it this way. You remember that little spin I put when we had that issue with poaching species and stuff? Not that I only purchased hybrids or anything, but the twist that I made in that video was that, you know what? With a hybrid, you don't need to worry that it has been poached from nature, because this does not exist anywhere other than cultivation. So if that truly is something you strongly fear, that you don't want to buy these orchids from nefarious sources, go hybrids. You will know for a fact that it's not coming from any forest of anything anywhere. It's coming from somebody's grow room, because it's a hybrid. Right, so that is about it on hybrids and species. At least that's the story for me. This is how I stand. I like both hybrids and species, but as you can see, I do have more hybrids because I personally care for how they look like. I'm vain. I like the looks, I guess. And I'm so vain that I don't even care if they're flower shop Phalaenopsis. If they look pretty, give me all the flower shop Phalaenopsis. I don't care if they're not like special. So yeah, I am vain in that way. If it looks pretty and it smells pretty, I love it. So yeah, it doesn't matter what people say, that, you know, how we call Phalaenopsis peasant orchids. It's all in good fun, but don't take it literally. Don't buy orchids because, I don't know, you want to brag, or because you want to show off that, look, I'm a pick-me person. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Buy hybrids. They're beautiful. They're wonderful. It doesn't make you special if you only buy Bellinas and stuff. No, you're losing. So yeah, I advocate for hybrids 100% because I love them. And with that said, let's end it here. Let me know your thoughts down below. Might detect I have a little adversity to some opinions out there that I've heard. I do. I don't like people buying stuff just to show off, you know? I don't know why. I don't like that mentality. You can do it, but I just don't like it. So I'm gonna say something about it, right? So yeah, in the end, what do you prefer and why do you prefer one or the other? Do you even care? Or do you just care that the orchids that we have are coming from reputable sources and we're not damaging anything by having them? Because that's the camp I'm in, you know? So, right, with that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed hanging out with me today and listening to me blab, and I hope you've enjoyed the subject. And with that said, I'll see you all next time. Bye!